Good morning, dear students. I am Mrunal Deshmukh. Today we are going to see 1.4 Pillars of Democracy. So, before starting the lesson, here are some activities for you. Icebreakers. These activities are related to your lesson. So, before knowing about the lesson, we should check our knowledge, what we know about democracy. So, the first one is discuss with your partner and choose the correct alternative. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. This famous statement is made by, here are given four options: Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, Dalai Lama. The correct answer is Abraham Lincoln. Second one, a system where the government is elected and ruled by people is called. Here are again given four options. So among these options, C option, that is democracy, is the correct one. Third, a democratic country is governed by its. Again four options are given. So the D option, that is constitution, is the correct one. The Trinity of democracy comprises three principles. Complete the web to show the Trinity of democracy. So, here are given three empty boxes and we have to fill up these boxes. What are the trinities of democracy? The first one is liberty, second is equality, and the third one is franquity. Third one is fraternity. Now match the following. Here are given column A and column B. In column A, constitution, liberty, equality and fraternity is given. In column B, we have to choose the correct option. So constitution means it is an aggregate of fundamental principles or established precedents that constitute the legal basis of polity, organization or other type of entity and commonly determine how that entity is to be governed. Liberty means it is the freedom to go where you want, do what you want, etc. Equality means it is the state of being equal, especially in status, rights or opportunities. Fraternity means it is the sense of common brotherhood. So, before starting our lesson, we should know about the pillars of constitution. What is meant by pillars? The definition of pillars is a tall vertical structure of stone, wood or metal used as a support for building. We know that when we build any building, that time we use the pillars. Strong pillars make strong building. Like that, for strong democracy we need strong pillars, but these pillars are different one. So who told us about these pillars? Of course, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. So we have to see about him, what he had done for Indian constitution. As you know that we are living in a democratic country, so we should know about the strong pillars of our democracy. First we see the introduction of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was born on 14th April 1891 in the town and military cantonment of Mau. Now we called it Dr. Ambedkar Nagar, that is situated in Madhya Pradesh. He got his degree from Elphinstone College, Mumbai. He subsequently obtained the doctorate from Columbia University, USA and London School of Economics. He was also assigned the big and challenging task of framing the Constitution of India in the capacity of chairman of the drafting committee. That's why we call him the father of Indian Constitution. He was awarded the Bharat Ratna posthumously for his dedication and commitment for the welfare of our country. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar has laid emphasis on the values of liberty, equality and fraternity. According to him, these principles will make India a strong nation. He is of the view that hero worship is a sure road to degradation and to eventual dictatorship and the collapse of a nation. Now, come to the lesson. Pillars of democracy. What he said. If we wish to maintain democracy not merely in form but also in fact, what must we do? The first thing, in my judgment, we must do is to hold fast to constitutional methods of achieving our social and economic objectives. When there was no way left for constitutional methods for achieving economic and social objectives, there was a great deal of justification for unconstitutional methods. But where constitutional methods are open, there can be no justification for these unconstitutional methods. These methods are nothing but the grammar of anarchy, and the sooner they are abandoned, the better for us. Here, grammar of anarchy means a state of disorder due to the absence of non-recognition of controlling system. Means we have to achieve social and economic objectives. When you did not have social and economic objectives, that means you are following unconstitutional objectives. The second thing we must do is to observe the caution which John Stuart Mill has given to all who are interested in the maintenance of democracy. Namely, what John Stuart Mill says that about democracy, not to lay their liberties at the feet of even a great man, or to trust him with powers which enable him to subvert their institutions. There is nothing wrong in being grateful to great men who have rendered lifelong services to the country. Rendered means give. Gave. The person who has given his whole life for the service of country, you should be grateful for him. No doubt. But there are limits of gratefulness. As has been well said by the Irish patriot Daniel O'Connell, what he said? No man can be grateful at the cost of his honor. No woman can be grateful at the cost of her chastity. Chastity means purity or modesty. And no nation can be grateful at the cost of its liberty. We should not compromise in our liberty. That is the meaning. This caution is far more necessary in the case of India than in the case of any other country. For in India, bhakti, or what may be called the path of devotion or hero worship, plays a part in its politics unequaled in magnitude by the part it plays in the politics of any other country in the world. Bhakti in religion may be a road to the salvation of soul. You know that many people of India do the bhakti. Means in our life we have a role model. We should do the bhakti, no doubt, but you have to do it in religious way. But in politics, this cannot be happen. If you do bhakti or hero worship, if you are grateful to any person, surely a sure road to degradation. Means you are going on the road of degradation if you follow any one person in politics and to eventual dictatorship. That means You are yourself ruin your life when you do the bhakti of any one person in politics. On the 26th of January 1950, we are going to enter into a life of contradiction. In politics, we will have equality, and in social and economic life, we will have inequality. In politics, we will be recognizing the principles of one man, one vote, and one vote, one value. In our social and economic life, we shall, by reason of our social and economic structure, continue to deny the principles of one man, one value. How long shall we continue to live this life of contradiction? How long shall we continue to deny equality in our social and economic life? That means there are inequality in our social and economic life. We know that poor people are becoming more poor, rich people are becoming more rich. So there is a difference between the people who are living in our country. There is a difference in social and economic life of Indian people. If we continue to deny it for long, we will do so only by putting our political democracy in peril. If we will follow one man in our life, then definitely we will put our life in danger. We will put our country in danger or in risk. We must remove this contradiction at the earliest possible moment, or else those who suffer from inequality will blow the structure of political democracy which this assembly has so laboriously built up. We should have to remove all these contradictions from our life. We should have to maintain the balance between social and economic life of each and every people in our country. So the second thing we are waiting in is recognition of the principle of fraternity. Now what is meant by fraternity? What does fraternity means? Fraternity means a sense of common brotherhood of all Indians. We always say that in our prayer, we say that we are Indians and we are all brothers and sisters. That is fraternity. If Indians being one people, if we say that we are Indians, because here in our India we see so many castes, so many religions, we recognize each and everyone by his caste, by his religion, but this should not happen. It is the principle which gives unity and solidarity in social life. If we say that we are Indians, that means we are united. It is difficult thing to achieve. How difficult it is can be realized from the story related to James Barr in his volume on American Commonwealth about the United States of America. What James Barr said that the story is, I propose to recount it in the word of Bryce himself that Dr. Ambedkar says that now I am going to tell you, or I am going to propose to recount in the words of Bryce himself what Bryce himself said about United States of America. These are the words of Bryce himself. Some years ago, the American Protestant Episcopal Church was occupied at its triennial convention in revising its liturgy. Triennial means the 300th anniversary. They were just engaged in their 300th anniversary of Protestant Episcopal Church in revising its liturgy. Liturgy means rites prescribed by public worship. Now here are some rites for the people of America or for the people of USA. They worship their God, but here are some lines in their worshipping. It was thought desirable to introduce among the short sentence prayers a prayer for the whole people and an eminent New England divine proposed the word, "O Lord, bless our nation." That was a short sentence given by this Protestant Episcopal Church for the common people, accepted one afternoon on the spur of the moment. The sentence was brought up next day for reconsideration. So many people accepted it, but they sent it for the reconsideration when so many objections were raised by the laity. Now here the members of religious community, some religious community members had the objection about the sentence, about the word. Which word? To the word nation. They had the objection on the word nation as importing to definite a recognition of national unity. They said that this word nation doesn't show the recognition of their country or the recognition of their unity. That was dropped, and they insisted that they should drop the word nation. So instead of this word, what they use, and instead there were adopted the words. They adopted a new word. Now, how was the line? "O Lord, bless these United States." That means, here United States means the whole people of that country, the whole people of United States of America. But is it possible in our country? Maybe not at that time, because in United States there was only one religion, but in our country here are so many religions, so many castes, and we recognize each and everyone by its religion and caste. So is it possible? Yes. There was so little solidarity in USA at the time when this incident occurred that the people of America did not think that they were a nation. They never think that they were a nation. But if the people of United States could not feel that they were a nation, how difficult it is for Indians to think that they are a nation. So think about this one, because in that country there was or there is only one religion, still they were not accepting that they were a nation. So according to Dr. Ambedkar ji, how difficult it is for Indians to think that they are a nation. I remember the days when politically minded Indians resented the expression, "the people of India." They preferred the expression, "the Indian nation." So instead of people of India, we express the Indian nation. I am of opinion that in believing that we are a nation, we are cherishing a great delusion, a mistaken idea or opinion. Delusion. We are cherishing, we were mistaken idea or opinion. Means we said that we are a nation. How can people divided into several thousands of castes by a nation? That's a big question in front of him. The sooner we realize that we are not as yet a nation in the social and psychological sense of the word, the better for us. For then only we shall realize the necessity of becoming a nation and seriously think of ways and means of realizing the goal. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar says that we should think on our goal. We should think that the necessity of becoming a nation, what things are necessary to becoming a nation, and seriously think of ways, means of realizing the goal. If you want to achieve the goals, that means you should have to think about that one means of realizing. The realization of this goal is going to be very difficult. When you want to achieve something, the path is not so easy. It is very difficult. For far more difficult than it has been in the United States. It was difficult in the United States, though they had and they have only one caste. So just think about that, how difficult for the Indians to say that we are the Indians, that United States has no caste problem. Still they were not accepting it. In India there are castes. The castes are anti-national. That's a big thing. Anti, the prefix anti in anti-national expresses opposition to something. You are opposing something, at that time we use the word anti. Anti-national, against our nation. The castes are against our nation, means here are so many castes, so it is difficult to manage all these things and to unite the different castes of people and to make them Indian. In the first place, because they bring about separation in social life. Here we know that there was separation in our social life regarding the castes. They are anti-national also because they generate jealousy and antipathy between caste and creed. These casteisms generate jealousy and antipathy between caste and creed. But we must overcome all these difficulties if we wish to become a nation in reality. And we overcome all these difficulty. Though some politicians, though some people jealous about all these things, they want to separate the people regarding the caste, they want to separate the people among the religion, they just jealous about this unity. But we must overcome all this difficulty if we wish to become a nation in reality. If we want to say that yes, I am an Indian, then we must overcome these difficulties. For fraternity can be a fact only when there is a nation. For fraternity, without fraternity, equality and liberty will be no deeper than coats of paint. So without these three important pillars of fraternity, equality and liberty, we cannot make our democracy so strong. And what Dr. Ambedkar says, these things will be no deeper than coats of paint. If we paint a wall with so many coats, but if the wall is weak, then definitely it will collapse. That means it looks beautiful by outside, but inside it is not so strong. So we should make our nation strong. We should make a strong nation. We should build a strong nation, and for that we should use fraternity, equality and liberty. These are the strong pillars for our constitution. So in this way, what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says about our constitution, and it is our duty as an Indian, I'm again repeating, as an Indian, it is our duty to make it more strong, and we have to do it at any cost. Thanks.